There are many unlikely heroes and villains in the secret history of rock and roll. And then there are those who fit somewhere in between, like the infamous murder victim with a secret musical past. On August the 20th, 1989, video executive Jose Menendez and his wife Kitty were murdered in the living room of their Beverly Hills mansion. When the couple's sons were arrested for the shotgun killings, it led to one of the most sensational trials of recent times.
Lyle and Eric Menendez killed their parents.
Now, at first glance, the link between murder victim Jose Menendez and rock and roll seems superficial.
Before the Menendez family moved into their mansion in Beverly Hills, it had been a rental for several years, and some of the former tenants included the group U2, Prince, and Elton John.
But there's much more. Robert Rand is a reporter who spent years studying the Menendez case. His upcoming book, Strange Sins, digs into one of rock and roll's most secret criminal connections.
Jose Menendez is the person who signed up one of the original boy bands and was the first to cross over a big Latin music act into the English mainstream.
In the early 1980s, Jose Menendez was a vice president of RCA Records, and his most lasting accomplishment was signing a popular Puerto Rican singing group called Menudo.
Menudo was the original boy group before New Kids on the Block, before the Backstreet Boys. Menudo was the hottest group in the music world.
Menudo's managers had set a new standard for manufacturing a pop group. The members were selected, then forced to quit at age 16, when they'd be replaced by a fresh, young face.
I thought it was kind of sick how it's like a kid gets too old and they throw him out and replace him with another, these disposable players.
Charlie Masso was in Menudo for 6 years. He remembers Jose Menendez.
He was a man with a vision, and we're very grateful for what he did,
Menudo had a squeaky clean image through the 80s. But cracks began to show in 1990 when 2 of the boys were arrested for carrying marijuana at the Miami airport.
How much did you have on you? How many drugs?
Anything. Just people talk a lot, but we never do that thing.
Shortly after that, a photographer, Bolivar Arellano, who had traveled with the group for many years, came forward with reports that 9 of the 27 former Menudo members had been molested by men who were running the group.
If you ask me if I have a picture or videotape having homosexual relationships, I don't have that.
He was never able to prove his claims. But when the sons of Jose Menendez went on trial for murder, the Menudo molestation scandal came into play.
Why did you kill your parents?
Because we were afraid.
It was a strange link between murder and Menudo. You see, the Menendez sons admitted killing their parents, but only because Jose Menendez sexually abused them. As the trial got underway, so did an investigation of Jose's relationship with the boys in Menudo.
Beverly Hills Police contacted Menudo representatives in Puerto Rico and tried to find some of the former group members. I think their investigation consisted of maybe a half-dozen phone calls.
Journalist Robert Rand investigated on his own.
I made a half-dozen trips to Puerto Rico in the course of my Menudo research, and I discovered that Jose Menendez had gone on tour with the group for 3 weeks. And during those 3 weeks, there were a number of wild parties that went on. Kids were given alcohol and drugs, and some of the kids had sex with men who were traveling with the group.
I have no idea about this child molesting situation.
The Menendez brothers' attorney never introduced the Menudo charges into the trial. But the story made international headlines when a former member of Menudo achieved international stardom. Ricky Martin had to respond to rumors that he'd been molested by Jose Menendez.
There is a story that was published in 1999 that Ricky Martin was on his way to Disneyland with Jose Menendez. I interviewed Ricky Martin in 1993 during the first Menendez trial. Ricky was about to cross over into the U.S. market, and I interviewed him about the Menendez-Menudo connection extensively, and his on-the-record statements were he denied that anything had ever happened.
Ricky Martin has stuck to his story. Unfortunately, Jose Menendez cannot tell his.
The Menendez-Menudo connection is still part of the secret history of rock and roll.
Coming up, the underside of fame. Drugs lead Guns N' Roses to a new arena.
See you in court.